Hi everyone, today we're going to make a cake in a mug. I'm going to make a chocolate cake, but there's loads of different recipes out there for lots of different flavours, from vanilla to red velvet to pretty much anything that suits your tastes. So what I'll do is I'll put some links to other places you can find other recipes in the description as well. In a moment I'll show you the ingredients that we need, and then we'll quickly put it all together, get it in the microwave, and within a couple of minutes we'll have a delicious cake. So let's get on with it. Okay, so here are our ingredients. We have got in here 4 tablespoons of self-raising flour. If you can't get hold of any self-raising flour at the moment, 300 grams of plain flour with a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda and a teaspoon of baking powder makes self-raising flour. So you can make some of that up for yourself. This is 4 flattened off tablespoons of self-raising flour. I've then also got 4 tablespoons of caster sugar, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 medium egg, 3 tablespoons of milk. Now, as you can see, I used the tablespoon the cocoa powder was done with, and it's also slightly yellower because we're using soya milk, because I can't actually eat cow dairy, so I'm just making it so I can try it. And then 3 tablespoonfuls of either vegetable oil or sunflower oil. I'm using vegetable oil. And then I've got some vanilla essence as well. If you've got anything at home like chocolate chips, nuts, raisins, that kind of thing, you can also stick a couple of tablespoons of those in as well. I'm just going to keep it to this at the moment. Okay, what you need also is the largest mug you've got. I've got quite a large one here, and something to stir with as well. So I'm going to use this. So I'm going to use this really large mug, and that's all that you need really to get going. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my 4 tablespoons of self-raising flour into the mug. Doesn't matter if a little bit gets spilt. I'm trying to do it neatly. I'm not known for my neat cooking. I like to be quite messy and kind of go with it, but I'm trying to be neat for the video. There we go. So 4 tablespoons of self-raising flour, then the 4 tablespoons of caster sugar. That's slightly easier to pour in. A little bit's got stuck to the bowl there. 4 tablespoons of caster sugar, and the 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. So I'll pop those in as well. And then we're just going to mix those around so that we can make sure that's nice and well mixed for once we are starting to cook. So just take a few seconds to make sure you feel that that's a really good mix. You can see there how it's all coming together nicely. I'm trying to make sure I haven't got any pockets of flour. That's where the fork's quite good, because the grains go between it, and you can make sure that you get a good mix. Okay, so once you've done that, you need to mix in a medium egg. I'm going to make a bit of a well in the middle, but that's just because that's what I've seen on the television, not because I think it makes any difference. You mix it in as much as you can. There might still be some dry mix left. That's not anything to worry about. We haven't put all our wet ingredients in yet. So I'm going to bring that over to the centre, and just so you can see that I'm starting to mix that in. There we go. I said I'd get a bit messy, because that's what I do, but never mind. So we're going to keep mixing that in. Mix it in as much as we can. It doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter if there's a few dry ingredients left there as well. So give that a good turn over. Helps mix in any last few bits of flour that escaped you before as well. Scrape that off on the side and scoop it back in. There we go. Okay, then we're going to add 3 tablespoons of milk. Okay. And the 3 tablespoons of oil. See why you needed a large cup now. And I'm going to add in a few drops of vanilla essence as well. If I can open this bottle, it's notoriously difficult to open this one. It seems to like to get stuck, so I'm just going to carefully drip in a few drops there. Right. Okay. And then you just got to mix until it's smooth. So start off slowly, or it'll slurp around everywhere. So it's quite fun for children, this, because it's all kind of hand size, which is quite nice to be able to get going, but it's satisfying as well, like when you're making your own Play-Doh or your own slime at home. It's fun for adults too. I can let you know. If you don't have a whopping big mug like this, I do have small hands, which might be making it seem even larger than it is, but if you don't have a whopping big mug like this, you could just make this in a bowl and then divide it between 2 smaller cups. I'd suggest cooking them one at a time in the microwave, because I'm not great at microwave timings where there's more than one of what's been cooked in the recipe, so I wouldn't like to tell you exactly the timing, but you may be more experienced than me with microwaves. Okay, you can see it's starting to come together now. It's starting to get a little bit smoother. But yes, as I said, if you've got more mix and will fit comfortably in one of your mugs, because it will come up a bit, it may overflow a little bit, then I would suggest that you make it in a small bowl and then transfer it into 2 mugs. So just making sure got that mixed in as smoothly as we can get. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our mug in the middle of microwave in a moment, and we're going to cook it on high for 1.5 to 2 minutes. Basically want it to cook until it has stopped rising and it feels firm to the touch. So there we go. I'm kind of giving it a little bit of a beat round there. Try and get a bit of air into the mix. There we go. Okay, now I have to say, I don't know how this is going to go. I've made these before and they've gone, they have overflowed a little bit, but that's part of the fun. And sometimes they're very firm and cakey, and other times they've kind of almost got, they're cooked, but they've got almost a fondant-y middle. Okay, so I'm going to pop it into the microwave now, and into the centre section. And I'm just going to select, I'm going to do it for 1.5 minutes and see how it is on high. So again, just to run through the ingredients that we had 4 tablespoons of self-raising flour, we had 4 tablespoons of caster sugar, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 medium egg, 3 tablespoons of milk, 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil or sunflower oil, and a few drops of vanilla essence. What you could have done just before we put it in the microwave, if you wanted to, is mix in some 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips or nuts or raisins, or a mix of that if they're things that you're particularly fond of yourself. So we've got about another 1/2 minute and then we'll see how it's doing and whether we need to do an extra 30 seconds. I've got a tester waiting here who'd like to try it as well. I'm going to send my tester to go and get a couple of spoons. Would you like to go and get a couple of spoons if you've got clean hands, please? Okay. So yes, we've only got about 30 seconds left and then we'll check it and see how it's going. So it's all quite easy to make. Mix the flour, caster sugar and cocoa powder together first, then add the egg and mix it in as much as you can, then add your tablespoons of milk, your tablespoons of vegetable oil and your vanilla essence. Mix until as smooth as you possibly can make it, and then add in any extras if you wanted to. Right, let's have a look and see how this has gone. Oh, mine is not ready yet. It's overflowing gently. I'm going to give it another 1/2 minute because it's not quite ready yet. And let's have a look. We're just going to have another 15 seconds or so. Mine is totally overflowing. It's having a, but even the stuff that's overflowing down the side is gorgeous, apparently. I have been reassured. Helper, would you mind going and getting a plate? I should have whizzed it round on a plate. There's a tip for you. Whiz it round on a plate. It's not firm on the top. Give it slightly longer. Definitely not firm on the top. Okay, do you want to give me the plate? Thank you, dear. Okay. This is the fun of doing it on a video. Just seeing how it goes with everybody else. No, you can wait. You're not eating that bit. My helper is very, very keen. So this is my nice plate for you to look at while I'm cooking this. That was my other helper dropping something. Right, it's nearly firm on the top, my one. So we've had to go over, which could be just the shape or the material the cup's made out of and how well it conducts things. It is also quite a large amount of cake. So this recipe came from the BBC Good Food website, bbcgoodfood.com, but obviously, as with any recipe, you have to adapt according to the machinery you have, and you just have to be willing to take a little bit of a chance that you might need to cook it a little bit longer. So let's have a look and see. Right, now this has totally exploded, which you can't see, but it is
yummy.
Just, is it yummy? It is
I can't wait to eat that.
firm on the top. Right, so as you can see, we've totally exploded. But what you can't see, can you give me, did you get 2 spoons?
No.
Give me that spoon, please, thank you. What you can't see is there is also beautifully cooked cake on the base of the microwave as well. No. Let's try what's in the actual... Right, so I'm going to get my helper. Right, there we go. Dive in there, and as you can see, there's cake. Lovely chocolate cake. So it's a little bit messy, but it is a chocolate cake. So here we are. Here's the cake. Here's all the overflowed mess. But if you don't mind a bit of mess, wait a minute. Here's some nice sponge cake. I think maybe that's all mummy's. Bye.